Many producers have a problem with one thing: variation and repetition, and they don't know how to break it. So I'm working on this one. Listen to this.
I don't mean to be like that. In my tight dress.
I think the concept is very strong, but it's very repetitive. There is no feeling of change. The answer to this problem is actually two words: bridge and add. Let me show you. The first thing that you want to do, create a bridge at your breaking points. Those are often 8 bars, 16 bars, depend on your structure. Here we have 8 bars. So what we do first, I want a 1 bar break, remove the kick and snare. Now we have this. So we have a rhythmical break for our bridge. The second thing, create a replacing drum pattern so that we know there is an energy build up at that exact bridge point. So first we start the simple snare loop. I want some toms hitting like dum dum, right? Dum 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 dum. Super simple. A synchronizer, and finally a clap to emphasize that change.
In my tight dress. In my tight dress.
And to make the change even more obvious for the casual listeners, adding a percussion loop. Oftentimes simple hats will do. Look how much feeling of change this adds of that simple repetitive loop.
Like that. In my tight dress.
Like magic, isn't it? Go try it out. I'm working together with Andrea to create this, to be honest, super cool track. And we have these vocals in the track. Gorgeous vocals, right? So much value there to create the ear candies. How can you do that? Pick a phrase that you really enjoy the melody. And here, this part is super cool. I need someone. Melody is also super cool. Start with chopping up that part. Now we have this. Differentiate this one from the main melody. You can start with telephone effect, focusing on the middle, giving this like 2 bumps on the low and high side. And then you want to get something like typical so that you can let the sound linger a bit longer. Right? This lingers. And then of course ambience with the reverb. And this part is optional, but if you want to make it even more ear candy-ish, take something like a volume gate. In this case, I'm just using Devil's Machine's Infiltrator. You can use anything that you want. You can even draw these lines manually. But trick is letting the first part go, then starting with the gate around the end and then linger on afterwards. Right? And look how much vibe and effect that this small candy adds to the intro and makes arrangement much more interesting. You have to try it out. It is super cool. This is one of the oldest tracks in the book, so it has been used for centuries. Let me show you. Most of the time, people come up with some arpeggios and they just keep it all the time same. Goes and goes and goes without a change. In this track, we are going right into the breakdown. So what I want, get the energy just a bit more up before going down. And the trick, put the arpeggio 1 octave up. And if you want to change a bit more emphasized, you can simply put your low end into the high pass filter and then just remove the kick so that we can at least have some type of small bridge right before. And let me show you the effect. Super simple, but it works. Quick announcement. This October, Oscar from Underdog Music School and me, we are organizing a workshop in Amsterdam Dance Band. And the workshop will be all about techno. It will be whole day from the morning until the evening. We will have track analysis, theory sessions, fixing tracks on the go, creative workflow, sample flipping, all at once. You can reserve your spot by following the links on the description, and I hope to see you in Amsterdam. I want to talk about soloing instruments in arrangement. There's a really good example of this in a relatively new track from Mercurial. It is pity that it only have 45,000 streams. The theory actually comes from the rock music, where you have everything and the guitar oftentimes have a solo part. In electronic dance music, you can replicate this one with synthesizers. Listen to this. It is super cool. You see how everything completely disappeared and we have a synth solo. Unfortunately, I can't play along this one, but I really strongly recommend you take a look at this track. You won't regret it. And no, Mark didn't pay me for this. Another big issue with the producer is that once they find something they're really proud of, it is really hard for them to let it go. So here, first a beautiful melody, and then beautiful vocals of Andrea. what happens oftentimes, producers love it so much they go straight into the same melody drop, so something like this. Mild melodies and vocals are super cool. Monotony in the track makes it worse than what it really is. So one of the solutions is like removing everything and just resetting track completely. Look how unexpected this breakdown is here. Three elements and everything has complete reset. And when the vocals come back, it is 10x stronger. If you're enjoying the video, please consider like and subscribe. It really helps a ton. Narration section. This is something that I learned from pop music songwriters. You have the regular part in a track where the singer sings, like here. Tone progresses, there's a vocal, and the narration part simply means that you completely change the melody. So we go like this. Reset it, switch it. Now we have complete different arpeggio, but the cherry on the narration part is like you break the melodic vocals into a talking vocals that tells a story. This works extremely well. You want to hear the narration part because you want to know what happened, and then you hear the melodic part because it's really cool melody probably. So my fellow dance music producers, give this a try. This is one of my favorite things to do on my arrangements if the stars align. So you will need two things. First, very dramatic drop, something like this. Big screech and big lead right after. Two, you need a vocal. In this case, I have like a more hip-hop-ish vocals.
From the bed to the floor to the couch.
So, regular build-up goes like this, right? It doesn't work. The main reason is the screech wants a contrast. You can obviously remove just right before here. But more clutch thing over here is actually what I call dropping the vocal. First, you remove everything until the last phrase of the vocal. So here I have the bass sound, I have the audio, I have the riser, and I have the claps, and then I have the rolls. They continue until the last phrase of the vocal, and the last phrase is this.
Bed to the floor to the couch.
And this creates a weird sudden energy drop on the build up while you are not expecting it. Listen to this and how much coolness and freshness this adds to the build.
Got my heart, no barging in from the bed to the floor to the couch.
Here you go. Feel free to use it. Paying attention to Col Response. I have a good example. Listen to this. Super cool drop, but something missing. First thing, of course, you literally visually see that the first half here we need something else to come answer, because it's a call, we need answer. You can answer the synthesizer with synthesizers like this. Immediately the flow improves. But the one thing that a lot of people misses, actually call and response could be more intricate, and you can use layers above each other to make them more fluid. For example, first there's a vocal playing together with the call. So vocal is kind of calling. And then to make it even more interesting, vocal turns into the response in the second half because we have more interesting response. So do you see the interplay? In the first half we had this. And now that one more time it goes to the response. And we let the main call be. And with this combined with the bridge, immediately we have much more variation in a simple loop. Do you see how simple call and response make the track much more interesting? Sometimes you need more energy in your arrangement, and what I see oftentimes is like people just throw in a bunch of percussions even though track doesn't need. Listen to this. We have quite a bit of hats. I don't want more hats, but we can do. So I get inspired from the original track, but the main idea is find pieces from the track and use it as an air filler. So take a look. First, we have this. A sound from the vocal, right? We are just EQing it to make it even more airish. There's another part here. right? This is more like a middle part, so together they end up like this. You don't want this one to mask the main lead that you are having. Just to avoid that, we have a side chain to the lead sound, so when the lead sound hits, we have this like ducking going on, so it's opening space for the lead sound. And now listen how much energy this brings in to the drum. Simple, yet again super effective. Okay, last one, I just wanted this one to be like no rules. And what I'm trying to say is that while you're arranging your track, break the rules, have fun, surprise people. This was a remix that I made for Disharmonian and Atom, and I was like, I'm bored of doing same thing over and over again, and I was just trying to have fun, and this is the drop that I had.
Dive in.
Right? You don't hear that type of drops. Like first we go down here, the tape stop, and then at the drop we remove everything, delay it with everything. But it turned out to be working pretty well. So experimenting is a lot of fun. You try something completely different and weird, and it turns out to be really cool sounding. It is your arrangement, break the rules, make it your own. I'm sure it will be cool. And this video was only a small tiny piece of my whole arrangement masterclass. I think now we are closing to 15 hours of content. So if you want to learn more about the arrangement and the rules and structures, that course is for you, and you can watch even more videos over here.